Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to my channel. It is Mr. Cowboys Fan. Of course, before we proceed into the video, leave a like and subscribe. It is I, Mr. Cowboys Fan, where we talk about cowboy things. Alright, so no late night talk episode tonight. My apologies. But I got y'all tomorrow. But I wanted to talk about an article that I saw earlier today. Actually, that I just saw recently. Okay. So here is what Dak Prescott said. You don't just win games with just talent. That's facts. And you don't win games on paper. And talent is really not decided on paper. That is facts as well. So I don't understand what it looks like, what it may look like from that side, understanding the lack of moves that get done. It creates that great conversation. I'm confident in the men we have, honestly. So basically what he's trying to say is that, okay, I'm not going to say he's under the Stephen Jones spell or anything, but, because Stephen Jones just straight up says anytime that you have to overspend for an average player, it means that you're trying to band-aid over a mistake you might have made in the draft or 2 or 3 years ago. That's not really this situation. He's just saying that it doesn't matter how talented you are. Look, I know that the Philadelphia Eagles have now twice tried to attempt to make a super team, and one really fell on its face back in 2011, when they finished 8-8, despite the fact that they had guys like Vince Young, Nande Asamoah. They just had so many players. People were calling it the dream team. But either way, it didn't work out. It fell flat on their face. And then just a couple years back, they tried to put together a super team. And this time in the regular season, it worked out. And then even through the playoffs, they steamrolled through the New York Giants. Albeit, I don't think the Giants were that good. They didn't have in a sense, you could say they weren't ready. The Eagles had the better talent. I guess you could say that. But I just feel like the Giants also they weren't ready, And the Giants being literally one of the bottom 5 run defenses in the NFL that year, it certainly didn't help them going up against one of the top rushing attacks in the Philadelphia Eagles, who basically ran roughshod on them the whole game. So either way, they beat them. And then they beat the San Francisco 49ers. And albeit I feel like their offense, the thing is that they didn't do all that great offensively. The 49ers defense was just tired and being put out in short fields over and over and over again. And then as far as the 49ers offense versus the Eagles defense, we already know what the situation was. Brock Purdy got hurt. And that's just what it is. So I know there's that next man up mentality, but when you go down to having no quarterback whatsoever, that's tough. So the Eagles had the, fortune of that happening. And once they finally faced Mahomes in the Super Bowl, it didn't work out for them. Like once they finally played a real quarterback, you know, they got absolutely torched. So, I mean, look, it is what it is. We know that creating a super team actually has not worked out. If you are not the 2021 Rams or the 2020 Tampa Bay Buccaneers, putting together a super team has normally not worked out. Super teams, for some reason, just don't win Super Bowls. They can get there, but they can't finish the job. So it's like, what was what was this all for? You know? The fact of the matter is, Jerry said that he was going to go all in. He said that he was going to go all in. And then we thought that we found out that he meant we're all in on the players that we have right now. And he was going to take care of Dak Prescott. He was going to take care of CD and possibly Micah too. Well, here we are, coming towards the end of July, and neither of those three players that I mentioned have gotten their contracts taken care of. We took care of Jordan Lewis, but other than that, we haven't taken care of nobody. Which brings me to my main point, is that, look, like, I mean, in a sense, Dak Prescott knows what he meant, like when he said that we don't need any more talent. Like, I mean, he's confident in the guys that we have right now. Because I think he understands that the Joneses, they just work in a certain type of way. And what I mean by that is they work in the slow way. Like, they don't like to do their due diligence, at a timely manner. They like to be more reactive than proactive. Where once they see things go bad, that's when they decide to want to go out and try to make something happen. They did it when they saw how bad our offense was in 2018, when at the start of the year our offense was terrible. I mean, we couldn't move the ball. We couldn't, like, it was horrendous. Our defense was keeping us in a lot of those games. And then, they decided to make a move and trade a first round pick for Amari Cooper at the trade deadline. And of course, we all know what happened from there on. The Cowboys, after trading for Amari Cooper, went 7-1 down the stretch after a 3-5 start. And yes, Amari Cooper was a part of that game, but it was his first game, and he had literally just got picked up trying to learn the offense. So, I mean, that game technically doesn't count. But either way, we started that season 3-5 and finished 7-1 down the stretch. Won our division. We won in the wild card round over Seattle. before having to go on the road to the Coliseum where Todd Gurley and CJ Stroud, dang it, CJ Anderson ran roughshod on us in that game. Had they have made a move like this, like during the off season to get a Amari Cooper for Dak Prescott, then maybe we wouldn't have had to worry about making that, miraculous turnaround in the second half of the season where maybe it's possible that we could have had that number one seed and could have maybe been, contending for a, be in the conference championship game or in the Super Bowl. My point is they do things at the last minute. They're reactive instead of proactive, and it will do good for you in the moment, but in the long run, in hindsight, it always lets you down every single time. So, I mean, look, like I said, Dak Prescott understands the way the Joneses roll. They understand how the front office goes, is that we all we got. We all we need. So, that's pretty much what it is. So we got to make do with what we have. And I'm going to tell you right now, we're going to give it our absolute best. I know I'm going to give it my absolute best to take this team to the place that where we're trying to go. And if that's going to be with, Ezekiel Elliott and Rico Dowdle as our two starting running backs, as our two running backs, and Mozzie Smith and Justin Rogers being our two starting defensive tackles in the interior, then so be it. That's what it's going to be. Instead of going out there and maybe making a couple moves that we could have made, this is what we have, And look, Dak, he's being more real, He's being more real because the difference between him and Micah Parsons is that Micah Parsons campaigns on the Edge podcast about saying that the Jerry and Steven, needs to, add some more pieces, add some more players in free agency or so we can so we can maximize our potential, come playoff time, and come, as far as the season. But that's just not how they roll, Micah. Dak is being real. Dak he's been here since 2016. Micah, you haven't. No offense. He's been here since 2016, and he knows how that front office was doing even when Dak was still under his rookie scale contract and was playing for pennies, and they had the cap space under Dak Prescott's rookie deal to try to make moves and get him a championship. You want to know why the 49ers have been doing what they've been doing and have been making the moves or made the moves that they made to put a super stacked roster around Brock Purdy? It's because he is currently on a rookie scale contract. The same thing with Jalen Hurts. They figured while he was still on that rookie deal, we might as well break the bank while we can to put as much talent and put as many players around him as possible so we can make a Super Bowl run. And they did that 2022 season. But, of course, they had to pay the price for maybe a couple of guys. And now it's probably going to be even more guys. But either way, yeah, he's been here since 2016. He knows how the front office rolls. They don't go out there and make a whole bunch of splash moves. They don't. They believe in the draft. They believe in it the way they built it in the 90s. Through draft, through some minor trades. Like, that's what it is. Like, they believe in their strategy and the way that they did it during the 90s. And unfortunately, it's just a different era of football where you can't, build a championship squad through the draft. You have to go out there and try to bring in some guys in free agency, some star established players that can get you over that hump. All right. Josh Jacobs would have, in my opinion, Josh Jacobs would have definitely solved our running back problems. I mean, it is what it is, man. But Dak Prescott understands that, this is what we have. This is what we have. And this year, I'm going to give it my 100% best. I'm going to do everything I humanly possibly can to take the Cowboys to a Super Bowl, despite not having one of the most stacked rosters in the league. Outside of a few good players in CeeDee Lamb, Micah Parsons, and Trayvon Diggs, that's what he has. And I'm going to tell you right now, a few good players does not win you championships. All right? But it is what it is. But, that's just, where Dak Prescott is at this point. And yes, you don't win games on paper. You don't win championships on paper. In a sense, he's definitely right about that. You don't win championships on paper. You still got to play the game, and you never know. Maybe those guys just didn't fit well into your scheme. Maybe it just didn't work out, like, unlike the NBA where you can put together a, team of a bunch of stars and go on and win a title. But this isn't basketball. This is football. Football is more scheme and playbook based than basketball, where you can put together a super team and win a championship. Football, it's a little bit different. So, either way, yeah, Dak Prescott says we don't need any more talent. And, Dak is in a place where, we all we need. So that's basically what it is. So let me know y'all's thoughts and opinions on this. How do you feel about Dak's comments? I was a little, like when I first saw the when I first saw the headline, I was like, what? And then when I finally, read it, I'm like, I I get exactly what he is talking about and trying to explain. So, yeah, that's pretty much, what it is. And with that being said, to all my audience, to all of Cowboys Nation, this is Mr. Cowboys fan, and we are out.